uncertainty.
You know, that obviously you need to be ready to play and all of that, but it is a little unsettling when all of a sudden you were preparing as a sub, and especially against Mexico in Mexico, you get thrown into the starting lineup, but a great opportunity for Robinson.
So the US heading into enemy territory. A rare road game for the United States. But they have a good record of late against Mexico, unbeaten in their last 4 matches with 1 win and 3 draws. But just that 1 US win all-time in Mexico, and that was the last friendly that was played in Mexico all the way back in 2012. What do you think of the things Mauricio Pochettino is wanting to see in a different manner from his side today?
Well, I would say be a little cleaner with the ball. There's a team in Mexico that can punish them in ways that Panama didn't when they were sloppy in transition the other night. But obviously he expects the same level of competitive spirit. And I'm sure he just wants to see if players can handle an environment that will be hostile and a team that will grow in confidence if they can possess the ball and get the crowd into it.
The referee gets things underway. Keylor Herrera in charge, the 31-year-old from Costa Rica, his 3rd time in charge of the United States. He refereed the US in the 2-1 loss at home to Canada in Kansas City in September. Yunus Musah with the ball backwards towards Joe Scally. Musah, of course, the goal scorer of the first goal under Mauricio Pochettino in the game in Austin, his first international goal. But here comes Raul Jimenez down the right side. Tim Ream coming across to get the challenge in, and it will go out for a goal kick.
One thing to be aware of early here is, and you can see it on your screen, especially if you have an amazing television, but it's choppy. The field is, you can see when the ball's rolling around, it's taking a hop. Very unpredictable. So as the U.S. wants to play out of the back and Mexico starts to press them, just have to be sure of this passing back there, and sometimes you're going to have to lump it long.
Robinson giving it away there to Edson Alvarez as it comes back here, and Jorge Sanchez plays this ball back for the Genoa man Johan Vasquez, as Mexico will look to bring it down the left side. It's their first full international game of this window. Mexico did play against Valencia in Puebla on Saturday. They tied 2-2 against the side from Spain, 2-0 up in the first 33 minutes, with goals from Alexis Vega and Osiel Herrera before 2 Dani Gomez goals tied things up for Valencia in that match. And there's a lot of pressure on this Mexican team led by Javier Aguirre as they look to try and start strongly here. Joe Scally getting across, and he's able to get the challenge in there to halt the run forward of Cesar Huerta. Joe Scally in for his 14th cap. The reports today that Javier Aguirre has been taken ill and was in hospital. Well, it was said by the Mexican Federation to be a visit earlier today to check out his back after some back surgery. But plenty of reports throughout Mexico earlier today that Aguirre might not even be on the touchline tonight. Mauricio Pochettino on the other bench. 2 former Espanyol managers, in fact. Aguirre followed Mauricio Pochettino to Espanyol in 2012 when Pochettino left for Southampton. Here's Anthony Robinson coming down the left side, and the boos ringing down from the stands in Estadio Akron as Robinson plays it into the middle. It takes deflection and goes behind for a corner. US ranked 18th in the FIFA rankings. Mexico 1 place above them. Malik Tillman into the side tonight and onto the set pieces in the absence of Christian Pulisic. Tillman swings it in and punched away there by Malagon. Picked up by Busio, who once again gets the start in the midfield as he hooks that high forward towards the edge of the box. Musah couldn't get there, and the flag is up for offside.
We're seeing the U.S. start this game in a similar fashion than the game against Panama when they're on the ball. Yeah, Musah playing that position, which we know he's played at the youth level, but haven't seen him with the U.S. and not that much with his club team either, going out on the right flank and almost playing as a wing back, and they're building out of a back 3 with Robinson very high on the left.
Robinson pulling the ball back towards Tim Ream, who captains the team once again today.
And you can see that the two holding midfielders, and this is what they want to try to create, is being able to bypass them and get through those lines and play long from occasion. Just force those decisions in between the lines for Mexico, so they have to either step from the back or turn and recover.
Hayden Morris with the ball forward, finding Aronson. Aronson playing in a more central role tonight, with Tillman out wide, but Tillman's in the middle, and it will be flexible tonight as it was on Saturday with that front three. Tillman tonight appearing in his 5th game in a row for the US. It's his 16th cap, his 5th start. Last start was the 2-1 loss against Canada in Kansas City back in September.
Well, that's a Mexico friendly right there.
Five minutes in as the free kick will be hit from halfway by Tim Ream, launched long towards that far side of the box where Sargent rises. Little flick on there from Miles Robinson. And Anthony Robinson first to it under pressure from the Fulham man, his teammate at Craven Cottage, Raul Jimenez. Robinson down the left. Aronson trying to get that, but it's picked up here as Mexico look to build through the midfield. It was Pineda. They'll go backwards towards Edson Alvarez, the West Ham man. Orbelin Pineda once again. Morris snapping at his heels as it comes towards the left side. And they'll bring it forward here with Vasquez.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how the counter press works against Mexico today. It wasn't all that effective against Panama, but that was in part because Panama just couldn't possess the ball. So the U.S. rarely had those opportunities when Panama was getting out of that defensive posture and pushing forward. But you would expect against Mexico that counter press will be something that Pochettino was really focusing on as they were watching video and on the training field.
Miles Robinson, one of the players in this lineup who has played in Mexico before. He went 19 and 0-0 draw in a World Cup qualifier at the Azteca in 2022. The FC Cincinnati man, Bucio's ball down the right side, and it's gone out of play. The boos coming for the US team, but they may well be coming pretty quickly for Javier Aguirre's side, depending what happens tonight, because make no mistake, the Mexican media and the Mexican fans are not happy with how things have been going of late for this team.
It definitely happened in the friendly against Valencia, that's for sure.
Mauricio Pochettino can become the 5th US head coach to win the first 2 games in charge. He became the 5th full-time head coach in a row to be undefeated in the first match in charge. The last one to lose a game was Steve Sampson against Belgium.
And here's the US going back into that mid block. Just forcing Mexico to try to probe and find gaps.
Into the 8th minute of play, 0-0 between Mexico and the United States at Estadio Akron, home of Chivas Guadalajara. Flag was up for offside there.
Well, it's well done from Robinson, just letting him run into an offside position, aware of where the line is being set by his other U.S. defender teammates, and that's going to be important that they hold that high line. They try to squeeze the field in the center of the park.
Robinson out for Scally down the right. Lovely ball through to Bucio, just couldn't quite bring it under control, and now here comes Raul Jimenez. He's got support from Pineda to the right side. Orbelin Pineda just can't get that shot away. It goes straight towards Matt Turner, who starts once again tonight for the United States. It's now 10 appearances in a row for Matt Turner that have been for his country since his last club appearance.
Well, we don't see the ball in, and obviously Shanks that one, it doesn't catch it, but the first time pass into Raul Jimenez in that transition just goes to show you how quick Mexico can be, and they can punish you If the U.S. sleeps and they don't have that spatial awareness when they're in possession like they did so well against Panama to shut down that threat when they turn the ball over.
Busio charging forward with a really positive run there, and he gets the free kick. Mauricio Pochettino was pretty pleased with what he saw from that midfield pairing of Busio and Morris, two players young in their international careers, but with bright futures. Morris, just 22 years old, from Fort Lauderdale, who went 90 minutes against Panama. Gianluca Busio, 22-year-old from North Carolina, who plays in Italy with Venezia, going just under 70 minutes on his first start for the senior team since the 2023 Gold Cup. Players leaving the squad since that win in Austin. Christian Pulisic heading back to Milan for load management reasons. Injuries to other players, including Weston McKennie and Ricardo Pepi, who scored that second goal in Austin on the weekend, has seen them depart Mauricio Pochettino's camp. No other players added, so it's a small squad here for the US in Guadalajara tonight, as that one goes out of Musa, who once again plays tonight in a more advanced role down the right side. Jesus Angulo will take this throw, the 26-year-old left back from Tigres. 19 of the 27 players in the squad for Mexico play their club football at home. There are 4 from current Apertura leaders Cruz Azul, 4 from Tigres as well. Angulo will take the throw. Ream heads it away. Raul Jimenez on the edge of the box, but Busio climbed high, and Tillman will hook it up towards halfway. And then that's good play from Josh Sargent to hold that up. Strength up top from the Norwich City man. Guardado with the challenge as Aronson goes down, and the referee allows play to continue. Angulo plays it down that left side into the channel for Pineda to chase. He's up against Joe Scally here. Orbelin Pineda, one way then the other. Can he deliver a ball into the middle? Pineda to the byline, chips it back post. Anthony Robinson flicks clear, and then it's put over the bar. Edson Alvarez, 5 goals and 80 caps. Not particularly close to adding another.
Well, really well done from Aronson. Just watch his recovery run. He's at the top of the box right now and just tries to find who he needs to get close to, and just trying a very difficult skill here. Aronson just gets in the way to make sure that there's no threat there. It's interesting, the referee allowing little things to go here early on, and a lot of times you'll see that in Mexico against the U.S. You have to let the game play. I mean, it's going to be physical, there's going to be fouls. Have to let the game get a bit of a rhythm.
Played back for Vasquez. And this is Angulo. Mexico with clean sheets in their last 3 internationals, including both games in the September window when they won 3-0 against New Zealand at the Rose Bowl. Pineda, Huerta and Romo with the goals. Then it was a 0-0 draw in Arlington, Texas against Canada. Push forward down that left side. Musa with the challenge, and the referee this time will give the free kick for Musa's foul on Angulo. US stayed and trained in Austin on Sunday, a recovery day, then headed to Guadalajara, so there has been very little time for Mauricio Pochettino to work on too much with this squad. Following the win against Panama in Austin. Now 5 straight wins for the US in games played in Austin at Q2 Stadium without even conceding a goal. Ream. Long down the left for Anthony Robinson to chase. Alvarado trying to get back to make the challenge on Robinson. It's gone out off Sanchez. Positive play once again down that left side from Anthony Robinson, who had a really strong game against Panama.
Well, I'd imagine that they watched the last game and saw the incredible amount of ground that Robinson covered. And, you know, Pulisic played last game, obviously, and typically Robinson's there as support, every now and then making overlapping runs, but with Pulisic staying central and tucking in through most of last game, Robinson was just on the flank by himself and starting this game in a very similar fashion.
Tillman will take the corner. Swept in towards that front post and away only as far as Scally. Miles Robinson, Tim Ream both staying forward here as it goes in towards Miles Robinson. Morris battling for it, drops back for Ream. Here's Tillman. Tillman driving that ball in and foot on it there from Vasquez as Mexico managed to clear towards halfway. Raul Jimenez will chase. The former Wolves man couldn't get the better there of Anthony Robinson as the two teammates tussle on halfway. Raul Jimenez in his second year with Fulham, 4 goals, of which a couple have been penalties in 9 games in all competitions for Fulham this season for the 33-year-old, who now has 50 Premier League goals, the second most by a Mexican player, just 3 behind Chicharito. Here's Josh Sargent. You can see there as the ball came there towards Scally, there was a huge bounce. Tillman trying to shrug off the challenge. Can he get the shot away here as he bundles his way towards goal? Meets a wall of Mexican players along the edge of that penalty area as it comes here for Musa. Aronson.
Well done by Aronson. This is the moment you can hear the crowd getting a little bit restless. You know, those whistles are a good sign. The olays you don't want, and just being smart. Don't go play a low percentage ball. Don't play into pressure. Possess. Try to drag this Mexican team around.
A good win there by Busio. This is Aronson played through, but Josh Sargent won't be able to get there, and it'll be brought away by Sanchez on the far side. The 26-year-old cruises all right back.
Now right there, those are the moments, that counter press, well done from Busio to be in the right position when they're in possession, toe poke the ball away. It's those tiny moments. Aronson just overhits that pass. If they could be crisp in transition, it can really hurt Mexico.
The US unbeaten in their last 7 meetings with Mexico, the longest run in history. The most recent win coming in March in Arlington when Tyler Adams and Gio Reyna scored the goals in a 2-0 victory in the CONCACAF Nations League final. Mexico haven't scored a first-half goal in the last 6 meetings. And the US haven't trailed at half-time in any of the last 7.
How much do you want to bet Guardado does not want to come off the field and stays out there for longer than he was supposed to?
His last appearance was the 2022 World Cup against Argentina. The 38-year-old Leon Mann, who has 2 goals in 13 appearances against the US, scored in 2007 at Soldier Field in the Gold Cup final and at the Rose Bowl in the Gold Cup final in 2011. This is his send-off game. We were told maybe 12 to 15 minutes, but he's still out there so far. Played in for Raul Jimenez. He'll turn on the edge of the box. Busio gets the block as it comes back away here. It'll be floated across to the far side by Angulo. Comes back here for Montes, who plays for Lokomotiv in Russia. Vasquez. Now Guardado, the captain's armband on as it launches it long, and Matt Turner can come to claim. Fast start to the game, no real clear chances so far. As Morris is down, the referee will just call a halt to play. And this will be the change. Luis Romo will be coming in to replace Guardado. So Andres Guardado takes off the captain's armband and will leave Estadio Akron to a round of applause with 182 caps to his name, the most caps in team history. He's played at 5 World Cups, made his debut all the way back in 2005, and a deserved ovation, a deserved moment of recognition for Guadalajara born Andres Guardado.
A big smile on his face. What a absolutely remarkable career he's had for El-Tri. And for younger U.S. fans, just be glad that this guy is done playing for Mexico, because he definitely was quite a weapon.
What a great moment for him to be recognized like that. And Luis Romo, the 29-year-old from Cruz Azul, comes in. Had a goal and an assist against New Zealand in September. He started the last four before being on the bench to open this one tonight, but he's into the match 20 minutes in. Quiet night so far for Matt Turner as he plays this one towards Miles Robinson. If you're just joining us late, Robinson was a late inclusion in the lineup. Mark McKenzie was supposed to start. No word yet on why he was pulled from the team during warm-ups. Anthony Robinson getting back and able to get a foot in, and now Tim Ream will play the pass away, but the referee's pulled this one back for a free kick. Alvarado fouled.
Yeah, and Robinson just got a little flustered because Scally just lingered on the ball, was indecisive, and by the time it got to him, he still did have Matt Turner on. I guess took the safe choice to play long, but when the U.S. opens up and they're in good positions to possess the ball, turning it over there, it's always going to be challenged because Mexico really isn't high pressing them, which means if that ball turns over quickly, Raul Jimenez and others are wide open in transition. This is a little bit far out, but it's the first testing moment. Jimenez can strike him.
Jimenez with 34 goals in 108 caps. Matt Turner at the weekend getting the clean sheet against Panama, his 26th career clean sheet. This cap number 47 for Turner in goal. Alvarado moves away. This will be Raul Jimenez to wrap it into the top corner. Around the wall, past Matt Turner, and Mexico have the lead.
Well, it was Vega last game that scored off a set piece in their friendly against Valencia, and on the bench it's Raul Jimenez who steps up. What a beautiful strike this was. And just to look at it, Matt Turner trying to scurry over there, and just the height that it stays at the whole time makes it very difficult for him to get over there. And this will be a good look at it. And that's the wall jumping as high as they possibly can, and just fingertips to it. What a lovely free kick that was from Jimenez.
Javier Aguirre's side holding the advantage as Raul Jimenez scores his 35th career goal for Mexico. And the United States trailing at the midway mark in the first half in Guadalajara as Ream clears it away, and Jorge Sanchez will bring this one forward down the right side. Pineda back for Alvarez, who has the captain's armband on now after the departure of Guardado. And the crossfield ball from Vasquez out towards the far side. Alvarado brings it down up against Robinson, into the path of Pineda. Morris with the challenge, and out of play it goes.
Well, that's how quick things can turn. One sloppy turnover, a free kick, an excellent strike, wonderful pace on it. Even a fully jumping wall is able to get it over it and keep it at a nice height to score, and all of a sudden the Olays start. This will be really telling for Pochettino's side how they react to this.
Alvarado finds Sanchez down the right side as Aronson was able to get the block in, it's pushed into the front post, and Ream gets ahead to it, behind for a corner, and the US need to stand strong here. A bit of pressure coming from Mexico as they look for a second. Mexico has failed to win the last 2 times after scoring first against the US, 1 draw and 1 defeat. Roberto Alvarado playing at home in his club stadium. Chivas man whips it in towards the front post. That was glanced away there at the back by Miles Robinson, who got there just ahead of Tim Ream. Mauricio Pochettino trailing for the first time in his US head coaching career. Johan Vasquez is down. The free kick from Raul Jimenez, the difference. Gulo towards the corner flag. Busio gets a foot in, but this is out for a US ball. Clean sheet at the weekend against Panama, just the 3rd in 11 games this calendar year for the US. They got 1 against Mexico in March, 1 against Bolivia in June, in the 2-0 winning Copa America in the opener. Scally's throw finds Morris, but Mexico battling to win it back here. Busio then with a strong challenge. The Mexico fans don't like it as Huerta was down on the deck. Robinson brings it up towards halfway on the left side. Possession turned over, picked up by Oberlin Pineda. Here come Mexico again. Sanchez with the cross in. Ream able to get it away on the far side for a throw. Referee not happy with something he's seen on the bench here. Card directed at the head coach Javier Aguirre, 65-year-old who replaced Jaime Lozano after the Copa America. Mexico coach for the 3rd time, signing a 2-year deal through the 2026 World Cup. Coached Mexico at 2 World Cups, losing to the US in the round of 16 in 2002, to Argentina in the round of 16 in 2010. He said in this game that that 2002 World Cup loss against the US was the worst defeat of his career. Robinson. Now it's Aronson. Possession turned over once again here. Mexico moving in about that pace. Vasquez across the back for Montes.
Yeah, this is smart from Mexico. Try to get this US team to spread out a little bit.
The high ball forward sends Raul Jimenez chasing. He'll drive it across goal. It's been a while since we've seen the United States able to get on the ball and get in the Mexico half with any effect.
Well, what's important for Mexico, I mean, you mentioned the stat of when they lead, and I think on occasion, and again, we saw it in their last friendly, sometimes they go and score and they just get a little casual, they get a little complacent, and right now is where Mexico needs to up the tempo. Don't sit on the ball because you have time. This is where I think they could stretch the US and force them to try and create turnovers, force them into positions where they're not as structured, not as balanced, but they got to get on the ball and play with some intensity. And here's another look at the free kick. You know, it actually might take a slight deflection, it looks like in that replay, off of Tim Ream, and just put it even further away from Matt Turner. It's hard to tell, but it did look like it slightly deflected and set it on a different trajectory. But anyway you slice it, that's a wonderful free kick right to the top corner. I'm sure all the goalkeepers at home are going to be looking at positioning. You know, could he be 2 steps out? Could he have been 2 steps left? But attacking players, we look at that as an incredible free kick.
Scally's throw in towards Aronson. And that's gone out off Scally for a throw here.
This will be a really good moment for some of these players to step